When do you use Chat and when do you use Cowork?
You've installed the Claude app, but have no clue the difference between Claude Chat and Claude Cowork. This is your video.
Hey, what's up? I'm John Charette, an AI consultant and advisor helping business leaders. In this video, I'll break down the difference between Chat and Cowork, and I'll provide you specific examples for you, your business, and your team members. Let's start with Chat. This is the tool that you've been using for a couple of years now, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, Perplexity. Think about Chat as your new search. Google search is dead. The term, I'll Google it, has now been replaced with, I'll ask Chad, or in my household, I'll ask Penny. And yes, because I use Perplexity for my chat, and then Claude Cowork for everything else. Chat is your standard, ask a question, get an answer. If you don't like the answer, you tweak it, ask again, and eventually you get what you want. Perfect for research and information gathering. Cowork, on the other hand, uses an AI agent. Dun dun dun! That's the term that everyone has been throwing around for the past year. What is an agent? Why does it matter? And what's the difference? Okay, we're gonna get slightly technical here just for a second, just for a bit. When you think about a chat, it's a conversation back and forth with an AI brain, an LLM, a large language model. It's searching the internet, perhaps connecting to a couple tools, and then making predictions to provide you with an answer. With Cowork, it leverages an AI agent, which creates a loop. You ask it to do something, it goes out, it also leverages an LLM and tools, but then it figures it out and returns to you with a deliverable. The key difference is the agent goes off, does a bunch of work, may have multiple actions, plus in the case of Cowork, has access to your local computer. This is why you need the Claude app installed to use Cowork, not just the Claude website. Okay, that's it. That's as technical as we're gonna get. Now, on to what's important. When do you use Chat and when do you use Cowork? Let's take a step back and think about what's being asked of you, or what are you asking or delegating to someone else on your team. Okay, let's try something. I'm gonna make a list of activities, and then kind of like a game, we'll have two columns. I'll have like a chat column and a Cowork column, and then you help me decide which one goes on which column based on the specific examples. It'll be fun. Okay, let's do it. All right, here's what's going to happen. Abby and I are going to go through a little game show here. We have 8 different examples, and on the board here we have Claude Chat and we have Claude Cowork. I'll go through each of the examples, and then you decide which side it goes on. All right, so number 1.
How do I handle a difficult conversation with an employee?
Definitely Claude Chat. Very easy, straight to the point, just looking for an answer. Number 2. How do I make my meetings more effective? Yeah. Definitely another easy one that an LLM could come back and give you a great answer about without having to do any additional work. Number 3, these are still the easy ones, don't worry. Can you monitor a Slack channel for me, my email inbox, a task board, and then every hour extract the action items and send me an email with the results? Flag anything that needs my immediate action. Cowork. Yeah. See how it goes up and does a bunch of stuff? Love it. Okay. Number 4. How can I increase my cash flow? No, that's a chat question. That's a chat question. Easy, it'll give you something back, no problem. Gotcha. All right, let's get into a couple more challenging ones. Number 5, please review my employee feedback from the latest internal surveys and messages on Teams, and then analyze which one of the employees needs additional support. Once you've done that, draft me a custom performance improvement plan for each team member who you've flagged. Definitely Cowork. Yeah, that's a Cowork thing, right? It went out, did some research, came back, had a result, and then provided you with an output, a deliverable. Okay, number 6. Compare the entire directory of contracts that I have in the projects folder and flag which clauses have changed. I used this one last week. It was an absolute game changer. Very much a Cowork thing. Once again, accessing local files, looking through them, making decisions. Perfect job for Cowork. Okay, you're starting to get it? Starting to feel it? Okay, next are a couple tricky ones. Number 7, create me a follow-up email after a meeting or sales call. So this is a tricky one because it can actually be both. Both Chat and Cowork can have access to tools. This is pretty new that Chat has that. When Chat first started, it was just straight LLM based on what was taught. It couldn't even search the internet. Now it can search, now it can connect to your Gmail. So if you wanted it to write an email and go to your Gmail and say, hey, write me a follow-up email, it could. No problem, it would give you an output based on the email. It would have the context from Gmail. Cool. Cowork, on the other hand, would just go a step further if you wanted it to. If you wanted to draft an email and include an infographic or an image or a report that's attached along with the email, you put it in Cowork. So this is a tricky one, and it really depends on what the output is of the email and how complex it is. The more complex you want it in Cowork. So I give that kind of stuck in the middle. Okay, number 8. Build a launch plan for our new service and create a campaign for it. Now, I would jump right away and put in Cowork because I want it to create the campaign and throw some images and really build the whole package. But you could just use Chat. This is another one where it's a little bit in the middle, where I definitely put this one in Cowork, because if you ask Chat for it without additional context, it's going to give you a AI slop version of your product, your campaign, because it just may not have enough information. Here with Cowork, you can go do some research, you can go check other files and really understand your business. Where Chat, you'd have to give it a lot more context into that prompt. Where Cowork, you can attach additional files, maybe have an AI brain, have some more information associated with Cowork that would make that one a better one. So you see, it's depending on what you want to use as an output that determines which one you choose. As you might imagine, it takes more tokens, more credits, more of your monthly subscription to do agentic work with Cowork than it does for a chat. That's why I keep all my chat with Perplexity, and then I save the harder stuff with Cowork. That way I'm not using my Claude credits for chat, and then I try and use Cowork and I run out. If you were to upgrade to a larger Claude plan, like the Max plan, then you can absolutely just use Chat and then Cowork all within the Claude ecosystem. So that's it. I hope that helps you understand the difference between the two, and kind of it really comes down to what you're asking it. Cowork is far more powerful as you leverage that agentic side. And yes, ChatGPT has the same thing. If you use Codex, you both require having a paid subscription. Using Cowork has been an absolute game changer in my productivity, especially when I have a lot of files, things to look through, an output. Not only can I go to the research, grab information, but read the files on my computer. It's incredible. I'm very, very happy with it. Try it out and let me know how you've started to use Cowork in your workplace. If you want to come and hang out and say hello to me, come join my free school community where we can chat, ask some questions specifically designed out to help business leaders learn AI. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.